So back to work today. It's Wednesday and my fragrance of the day is going to be Acqua di Parma, and it's the latest release from the Blue Mediterraneo line, and it's called Chinotto di Liguria or Liguria. Chinotto di Liguria. So just have this little sample. I'm going to spray quite heavily because it is a fresh light fragrance, as are most of the Acqua di Parmas. So I'll do some on my wrist as well, just a little bit left in there now. Immediately I'm getting a very bracing citrus note. If I didn't know any better, I would probably say it was more of a bergamot neroli combination. Very zest like, so doesn't smell like the flesh of the fruit. It's not very juicy. It's very much like bitter zest of bergamot. That's kind of what I'm getting, with a little bit of a greenish undertone that potentially could be something like oak moss or something similar, not like galbanum, a more pleasant greenness underneath it. So really at the moment it's just that zest of a fruit that's slightly bitter with a bit of a green, maybe slightly tiny bit of woodsiness as well. At the moment, if I was going to say it leans anywhere, could actually lean a touch masculine with that green kind of mossy feel. It gives it a masculine vibe, a little bit like you might get in a fougere or something. So right now it smells pretty good. I'm happy to wear it and we'll see how it goes. So here's my final thoughts on Chinotto di Liguria. I think that might be Chinotto di Liguria. So I've made some notes throughout the day. We are now at about 5:15 in the afternoon, and I have been wearing it all day since I applied it about 7:30 AM. So that's a long time. And I have still got a little bit left on my skin. So for such a light fragrance, there's just a little bit left now. I would say I was tempted to apply something else around about 2:30 this afternoon, only because it's very light. You have to look for it. Kind of waft it up and you can smell it. Wave your arms around a little bit, you can smell it. But I would say it was projecting enough up until around about 2:30 this afternoon, and it's now you just have to look for it. So yes, it's a skin scent smell wise. So what I noticed in the car on the way into work was that it did start to sweeten up. So it started off with that bitter note, that kind of slightly bergamot-esque peel note, with a masculine kind of green spicy-ish note underneath that. And what I found was when I got to work, the fragrance had slightly sweetened up, and I'd noticed that there was a kind of spiciness to it, but not like cinnamon and nutmeg, that kind of stuff. It was almost a bit like a ginger, like a slightly soapy-ish ginger note. And what else have I written? It definitely felt like it leans just a tiny bit more masculine than feminine. I found that it felt that for a while there was a little bit of a hint of mint in there, something slightly like mint, just very translucent, adding something a little bit more interesting to the fragrance. And as it dried down, it got more woody, it got musky, the zestiness slowly sort of dissipated. You could still smell a fruitiness, but it wasn't a vibrant and bitter fruitiness. It was just a hint of the fruitiness left, taken over more by the masculine woods, greenness. It felt almost like if you buy men's body products, like a shower gel, maybe one that's advertised to smell very natural. So it would smell like fruit rind, but also there would be kind of a masculine, a slightly generic masculine undertone. So maybe if you took the tiniest bit of Sauvage and mixed it in with a little bit of soap, that kind of thing, but with a nice kind of natural zesty thing on top. I'm not sure if I'm describing this very well, what do I think of it? I think that it smells quite good, pretty good in fact. If you are in the market for a more masculine, fresh fragrance, rather than seeking out something that is just super citrusy and fresh, if you want something that's got that masculine vibe, that kind of makes you smell like you've got on a body spray and a masculine deodorant, and you used a masculine shower gel, but then you've got that fruity element on top as well, something that's got natural feel to it, but also a slightly unnatural masculine generic smell as well. It's a combination of the two is what I'm trying to say. Do I love it? No, I don't love it. I wouldn't buy a bottle. I prefer others from the Blue Mediterraneo line. I prefer Mandorlo di Siciliana. That's because it's almond and I love almond. But if you're a chap looking for one of the Blue Mediterranean lines, I would say do consider Gineppo di Sardinia and Fico di Amalfi. But this one is very different from those fragrances. It definitely stands alone. I would say if anything it's closer to Pura from the other line, Acqua di Parma. But the problem with Pura is the opening is stunning, it's out of this world, but then you're left kind of wanting because it disappears and it becomes a little bit light and a little bit generic quite quickly. So I would say it's definitely worth considering if you are in the market for a masculine, freshy kind of thing, then give it a go. Performance wise, it was okay. It's what you expect from a fresh fragrance. It certainly has lasted all day long, you can't argue with that. And don't forget, I only sprayed from a little sample. If you have the whole bottle, you do quite a few big sprays, I have a feeling you'll get a better performance than I did. So overall, I say it's definitely worth checking out if it sounds like it's your thing, but it's not going to be something that I'll buy. I doubt it would be something that I would be recommending. It wouldn't be at the top of my list of things to recommend to people if they are looking for that masculine citrus fragrance. I think from my personal preferences, I would be recommending the likes of Bright Neroli from Ferrari, Gorse from Laboratory Perfumes, Colonia Essenza from Acqua di Parma will give you a much better performance, although it is a different fragrance. But that's my thoughts on that fragrance, and thank you for watching.